First of all, I want to say that I'm honored that I was selected for Indigo to do this interview. And I basically just want to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Cierra Thurman, and I'm an author, publisher, and transformational speaker. My book is entitled My Life, the One He Never Got to Witness. It's a story about my father who was tragically murdered by Chicago police when I was a little girl. And I basically wrote a letter to him explaining, in his absence, everything that I endured. The good, the bad, and the ugly of being raised in a single-parent household and basically being a daddyless daughter. My mother, she did an amazing job, but due to my situation, our living situation, I grew up fast and I had to take on a lot of adult responsibilities. I was homeless at one point in time in my life. It was a lot of things that I had to overcome. But ultimately, the book it's like super motivational. The message behind it is don't become a victim to your circumstances. Writing has always energized me. I've been writing since I was a little girl. It's something that me putting my feelings on paper, it's kind of like therapy for me. I'm able to get out all my emotions, go back, read through it, and kind of figure some things out. It's almost like a little roadmap, so I definitely enjoy it. I'm the CEO of Written Ambition Publishing, and it's like to help people like you, the indie author, someone who wants to get their story out there and they want to actually reap the benefits of their hard work. When you go with a traditional publishing company, they get all your coins, you done did all this work, and they get all your royalties. When you come with someone on the smaller side of things, like my business, you're going to keep 90% of your royalties. I'm going to do all the hard work, and you're going to have a chance to share your story with the world. Some of my favorite authors, of course, at the top of the list is Maya Angelou. I really like Steve Harvey and his books because I feel like they're very realistic and they talk to the common person. You don't have to necessarily go to college to be able to read it. It's just really down to earth. Someone else, Cupcake Brown. Cupcake Brown actually is one of the persons who really motivated me to be so transparent and raw and real with telling my story. I think the hardest thing for me to write in my book is when I touched on domestic abuse and domestic violence. I grew up around it. My mother was abused. I like to think of her as a survivor of domestic violence, a domestic abusive relationship. I too went through a domestic abusive relationship. So that was really hard to share those intimate details. One, because when most people see me, they don't see a survivor of domestic violence. You would think, oh, you're confident and girl, you got 10 jobs like a Jamaican and I see you doing all these powerful things, you know, going on these large platforms. But that was something that I experienced as well. And getting out of that situation, having low self-esteem at that point in time in my life, being dependent on a man who used force to necessarily like control me. It was a difficult time, and it was literally by the grace of God and my family that helped me through that. One word that best sums up me and my vision. Can I do 2 words? I was coined, someone gave me the nickname Renaissance Woman. And I love that because it speaks to not just where I am, but it speaks to those who helped me get here. So my upbringing with my parents, my grandparents, my family, and also with me now trying to move forward and give that to the future generation. As far as public speaking goes, you have motivational speakers, you have inspirational speakers. I like to consider myself to be a transformative speaker. And if you don't know what that is, it basically means after I speak, whether it's at your conference, your workshop, your graduation, whatever type of event you may be planning, the audience and the attendees will leave transformed. They will leave there with action steps on taking the next jump or the next risk or the next, they have that momentum to move forward in their lives. How did I get into modeling? I grew up, first of all, playing basketball. I've been 5'11", barefoot, standing in my socks since I can remember. In high school, I was a freshman starting on varsity basketball team. And I mean, people used to tell me all the time, girl, you know how to switch it up. Because I would literally be on that court hooping like a straight up dude. But after the game, I go to the locker room, I put on my clothes, maybe put on my heels, and I strut like I'm ripping the runway. And that's pretty much how it got started. It was something that I always wanted to do. I didn't see any models in the magazines or on the runway that looked like me. So I'm definitely an advocate for plus size modeling. I'm an advocate for body diversity. I'm an advocate for loving yourself where you are. Best fashion trend. I'm very simple. I'm very casual, humble, down to earth. I love me a good pair of fitted jeans. So I think the fashion trend that I like the most is fitted skinny jeans, because they make everything just fit and tight and just look so right. The hardest part of being a plus size model is breaking into like the main industry. So many people want to put you in a box, and so many people believe that straight size modeling or the girls that you see on the magazines is the only fit or the only niche in the industry, and that simply isn't true. I believe, as you know, we're moving into times where people are more accepting of women with curves, and it's basically real live women. How did I get on the Steve Harvey show? This is actually a crazy experience. For those that have not saw the show, I participated in Steve's 30-day date experiment. So I dated my ex to see if we could rekindle things. During the show, he actually cheated during the experiment. So I was humiliated and I was embarrassed on national television. I was heartbroken. But again, sometimes the breakup is a blessing, because that led to opportunities for me to go back on the show. And basically, Steve felt kind of guilty for how things went, but he applauded me for being so sophisticated and poised, even in that turbulent time in my life. And as he quoted, I was a fly chick. So he wanted to bring me back and so I could go on a great blind date. He handpicked the bachelor and he took me on a fabulous date that I will never forget. It was actually the best date I've ever been on in my entire life. And I'm excited about it. How can people reach me? Well, first of all my social media is at Cierra Thurman. That's CIERRATHURMAN. So if you got Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever, everything is at Cierra Thurman. You can also reach me on my website, CierraThurman.com. And for business inquiries, you can email me, Sierra.Thurman@ymail.com.